I gotta go pee, so I'll be back in like 2 minutes. We'll get started. I'm still missing like a bunch of people. Cool.
Yes.
All right, I don't know where anyone else is, so we'll just get started, shall we? Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Hey, we're 60% done with the course. It's crazy, huh? Got 4 weeks left, including this week. Reminder, I will not be here Thursday. So we have someone who will be here in my stead. She joined Slack, although I don't really see her anywhere. So, like we'll see, like you'll see her on Thursday. Hoping to just have a lot of practice for you guys by that day. We'll see. So here's the objective for today. We want to talk about loops and stuff. I don't really think we'll get there, but that's okay. Yeah, the cat is at least pretty happy. One really important thing to talk about, though, is even though I won't be here Thursday, I'd like for everyone to please send me a URL of their deployed final project. Again, I don't expect it to be done or even close to being done, but I expect it to exist in GitHub so I can track and things like that. So I really appreciate that. I'll be out of town, but assuming there's cell service, I should be able to do this.
On Thursday, it'll be a little hard for me to get here on time. Should I actually come? Or should this is going to be practice? Shouldn't I just do that?
Like, you know how important it is. With the practice something, like, if you have something and you can't make it, that's up to you, right? But, like, I think that you should come. It's still, like, you know, I love this person, but I heard she's like really great. She's like a full-time instructor and things like that. And the thing is, it depends on where we're at. So, like, if we don't get to this, then there will be some instruction. So it's your prerogative. But like, if you can't make it, like, you know what I mean? I'll touch base with her. I'll kind of just go like how we practice. I'm not sure if that's how everyone else does. I don't know. So hopefully it won't be too like weird. Anyways, and hopefully you guys won't like her more than me. I guess we'll find out. That's a joke. Cool. So, like, we have all this stuff, but really, I think it boils down to this. So now I know that a bunch of people were out last Thursday, and then beyond that, I think that even like for the folks who were here, like I think it always helps to have that extra practice and context. So I do want to spend a good amount of time today as well doing the practice. You guys, I promise by next week we will have made it into the browser, and we'll be working through like how we can apply these concepts to actual things like interactions and stuff like that. So I've got a bunch of practice that I'd like you guys to work on. In particular, 3 practice sets. The one thing I wanted to say is that in this example, I'm just going to show it to you for the time being. You guys can like obviously like mess with it. The idea here is that like it's broken. So you're going to write some if statements to make this work. However, when your if statements are set through the magic of this file, which you should ignore, which has all the browser code, it will turn this into a value that you put in. So if I put in like, you know, 98 and hit enter, it should give me A, and so on and so forth. Why does this work? Oh, it should always work, right? If I give it like 88, it'll still give me, okay, so yeah, it's broken. Right, you get it. That should work, obviously. So that's one of the practice problems, just to hopefully maybe give you guys a little bit more interactivity. I don't know. And then this is just a regular one. And then finally, I'm going to ask you guys to build the RPS that we did through pseudocoding, but like actually this time around. So that's kind of our warm up. And I want us to I like go through it one problem at a time like we did last time, because I think that was really good for everyone. And I think like there isn't a person here who feels confident and like super upbeat about this stuff yet, right? More or less. It might feel okay, but not okay. All right, so why don't we get started? Please open up the conditionals review. Oh, by the way, if you haven't done so already, please join the Lecture 13 channel. I assume everyone did. I think I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who the hell is the 7th person? She's probably, oh right, she's working from vacation. Anyway, so if you click on that, you know, the first one, conditionals, you know, okay, I'll just copy that. Why did I do this first time? Work through code. I'll give you guys like maybe 2 minutes to kind of like ramp up, and then I'll walk around and make sure you guys are not struggling. Please do the first problem, is my name too long? That's the only one I want you to do. Just one problem. Spend like maybe 5 to 7 minutes on it. We'll go over it and then keep going. Fair? Okay. You don't work in groups, by all means. If you don't want to work in groups, that's fine too. And I'll start walking around. If you have any questions beforehand, feel free. So if you pull up Slack and open up any of the other channels, right? You're in the right place, this guy, right? But you go to lecture 12, let's say, like, so you do the first one, right? 12, let's say. And what are the numbers? Okay, so if a name has length greater than 16, it should return true. Otherwise, it should return true. It's a function where you pass it along a setting, but any one is the problem. Correct. Description is the collection. Correct. So then, like a name of the function, so you should call it, and let the name too long. It takes one parameter, string, and kind of return to the Move to the beach ball. It's not beach ball. Sorry, I don't know what that's happening. I hope it's not because
No, but it's not a game. It's just, it's like, it's like, it's like, Milton last week was started with instructor, but I want to ask you something.
Sure.
Is there a, does this involve actually content?
it does, but you should search like JavaScript line.
Okay.
It's a very easy way of doing that. That looks like you're also just like warming up a little bit, right?
Okay.
Cool. That's fine. Good to yes.
Description. Description. So this is needed. Description.
Sorry, not sure. So it didn't really have much. Oh, right. So that was because of the string, right? So this is just an if statement for you. So you should take a look at like 12. You'll have the syntax, or just Google like JavaScript if else. And like I think as soon as you see it, it'll like put it in. So and write logs, search by JavaScript, find string. So very closely. So before I go back, go back to it. Then yeah, move the that yeah, then get rid of it. Still not working correctly, but I think like do like look at the code set that like should be like the code is not that makes it straight. You want to be able to write the word true. Okay. Okay. So why don't we? How are you? Yes.
I'm still, yeah.
Do you guys want to just go over this one then? Yeah. Okay. You guys want to follow along? Here it is. All right, so here's the idea. So you want to create a function called isNameTooLong. It takes in one parameter, name, which is going to be type string. So you can expect that that parameter that is being passed in is a string. It's going to return a Boolean, and basically the description and the two examples kind of show you how. So if the length of the name is greater than so if the name has more than 16 characters, it should return true. The name is too long. Otherwise, it should return false. The name is not true. Fair? That's the long and short of it. So again, the idea is to start off with what we know and then build on top of that, right? So we know at this point how to create or write our own functions, right? So how does that work? Okay. Anything else?
And then inside your parentheses, you have
The parameter, right? In this case, name. Okay. Now, that's more or less it, right? That'll do it. Now, if we want, like we can, so there's two options here. You can continue to write the code or you can just test it real quick, right? It's always nice to kind of test. So what is this function supposed to return? Correct. So for now, why don't we just return false? So like it returns something. And let's see if this code runs. How can I test to see that this function is running and working? What should I do? Console.log what? Okay. And is that it, or is it something else? I should put something in there, right? Do you see how it's giving me back false? Is that what I expect? Right now, it's logging out false. Why is it logging out false? Because I returned false, right? So just remember, the return keyword is for like whatever I want to export out of that, the functionification. So just put in like a name. Now, in here we can test, right? Console.log name parameter is, right? Name parameter is top, etc. Right? So now, so now we've kind of come to the end of what we do, right? Like we know how to write conditional statements, kind of, right? Because we talked about those, right? So can anyone tell me or remind me what the body of a conditional statement is supposed to be like? Like how do all conditional statements start? Correct. And then the parentheses, right? With the curly brackets. What goes inside here? Right, some sort of condition, like not the specific, but yeah, some sort of condition that will evaluate to a Boolean, right? So like usually we'll do a greater than sign, a less than sign, and then we do 1 equal or 2 equals or 3 equals. To compare. 3, right? 1 equals is to define a value, so we can't use 1 equal in program. 2 equals is bad practice. 3 equals will check the data type, so it'll make sure both ends are like both strings or numbers, and then if they are, it'll also check to see that they're actually the same value. Right? So in here, to your point, like we should do like this name or something, right? Now the problem is this: what is the data type of name? Name is a string, and yet we're comparing it to a number. Does that make sense? Right? It's a little bit weird, right? And although we, in spirit, we know what this is intending to do, the problem is it doesn't work exactly that way. So the only unknown in this problem is, well, how do you find out how many characters are in a string? I kind of intended for you guys to search that up. If you just Google JavaScript find characters in string, or something like that, find how many characters. Boom, how about this? JavaScript string length property. Here it's asking for the number of occurrences, which we don't care about, that's why I skipped it. But this seems to make sense. Okay, how does that work? Well, if you click in it, if you have a string like this, to find the length of the string, you do the variable name dot length. Does that make sense? Dot length. It's here. So like we're storing this string into a variable called str. The str.length will give us what, ideally? How many characters here? By the way, space time. Right? So that's what it does. So can we apply this learning back to our code? Correct. And if it's greater than 16, we should and do we ever have to return false in this case? Right, but here's the thing. So if name is greater than 16, it'll return true and it'll stop, right? It's done. If name is not greater than 16, then it'll come here and return false. So we don't actually need the else in this case. That's the way, does that make sense?
It's implied.
But you could explicitly do if name greater than, and then the other, there's only two conditions, right? So the other would be, else.
What if there's like an error?
Like name is in like a string or something.
Yeah, because wouldn't we want to not put it like this?
That's a good question, right? So like one thing you could do also, no, actually, I'm thinking you're thinking something. What do you mean by error?
So if like the string is not a string.
Oh, you're thinking that. So the question, what you could do is you can also do a check, right? If type of name is not a string.
If we're just putting this, we don't want to just type. It seems like type of is like a thing that you do in class almost. Like can we not just write it as a code so that they don't have to do like a type of check?
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, nulls, it looks like nulls always do. Or what you do is you write a function where you have that type of check, you call that function all over. But either way, you have to do it. You know what I mean? Does no one want to see that in action? Did you run it up? Would that be interesting to look at, or are you doing too much right now? Yeah, you guys interested? Okay. So the question was like, all right, but like, what if instead of putting? So this is a very good point, right? So like we just assume that the function called will have the correct data type. It might not. It could have 14. Does that make sense? Does 14.length make sense? Not really, right? And so what we'll end up with nonsensical values. As you can see, it returns false. What does that even mean? So the check is to do something like this. You guys remember the type of? So you can do like, okay, if type of what? What variable are we testing? Equals to string, or sorry, does not equal to string. You guys remember the not equal? Then what? Return false, right? Because the name is not, or that's a good point, right? So that's a matter of the name. You want to return a false and imply something, or you want to return a completely value like an error. And it's your call. And so you can return an error as a string, like you can say, error, this is not a string. Or if you want to really have fun, you can actually do this and send back an actual, real custom error. Not return, throw a new error. And it actually tells you, error, this is not a string. So I've been showing you that before, but if you intend on having your code do a hard stop on something, that's the way to do it. Whether you want to or not is up for debate. But that's possible. Now, going beyond that, since it was asked, this is actually really interesting, is that, so the other part of that question was like, this is fucking annoying, right? Having to do this over and over again, is that fair? What we can do is, well, we know how functions work, right? We can write a function that kind of takes this piece away, and we call that function. That's kind of neat, right? So I kind of wanted to show that to you. That's okay? So, do you guys want to stick with the throw new error approach, or do you want to do a return? What would you rather do? Want to do return function or a first function? Okay, and we can see both. Okay, so let's do that. So instead of this, here's what we can do. We can say, all right, well, function, right? Like maybe assert valid type. Does that make sense? And we can do something like, okay, variable to test, right? And does that make sense? So we're going to pass in two arguments. We're going to say, hey, assert that name is string. Or in a different case, we can say assert that foobar is number. Something. Is that fair? Now the beauty of it is, so what we're doing is we're taking something that's hard-coded, right? It's easy to understand, and we're making it reusable, but that makes it a little bit harder to understand. So what we're doing is we're sacrificing simplicity for abstractness or reusability. Does that make sense? That's always a trade-off that you have to do. Things could be simple but repetitive, or they could be really reusable but abstract and essentially harder to understand. So in this case, we basically have to write this if statement in terms of those two parameters: the variable type, the variable to test, and the a data type. Is that fair? So if we were to call this function in here, right? The variable to test would be what? Name, right? And the data type would be
String or whatever.
correct. So is it fair to do this? Change this to variable to test, and change data string to data type. You see why that would make sense? You see why we did that, or no? So let's go back and let's try to understand the problem. We're trying to make this reasonable. So we created a function which will take two arguments. One is the variable to test. The other one is the data type. Now we need this logic to happen inside of the function. So in this case, if we were to call this function in instead, we would pass it the name for the variable test.
Okay.
And we would pass it in string for the data type, so we can now represent symbolically. Okay? And here, instead of is not a string, it should be is not a data type. Does that make sense?
The data type and variable test are part of the JavaScript program itself.
Not at all. These are parameters, just like this is a parameter. You see, we can name these anything we want. I'm naming a variable to test to make it easier for us to understand that what we're doing in this function is we have a variable we want to test, and we want to test that is this data type.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes.
So that's the name. We're going to call it AP if we want, but that's just not as luminous, right? Is everyone following this? Any questions? So how could we replace this so that it leverages our assert value type? That's the other side of it.
So if
So,
assert value type,
actually, so here's the beauty of it. We don't need the if anymore because the if is throwing the new error, right?
okay.
So we just have to call it, and if this condition will match, it throws the error and the program stops. If the condition does not match, then it keeps going. So it's as simple as doing assert valid type, name, string, and now as you can see, name will be this, string is this, which is exactly what we have here, right? But now abstracted away into a function call. I'll keep this so you guys can remember. Equivalent to, right, that. And that's it. It still works. If I change this to 14, ta-da. But now the beauty of it is that now we can reuse this function everywhere. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Reuse everywhere.
Right, because then in the assert valid type, second time you put it around, you can put something like, I don't know, banana and number. Because you've already identified it up top as this is what's supposed to be not equal to it. Whichever it is, yeah.
Let's say that one more time.
So in assert valid type, second time, it could be
Here or
no, in there. Right, yeah.
Okay.
So that could be anything.
Yeah, any variable we want. And this could be any valid JavaScript type. So if we write another function that needs a Boolean and we want to make sure it's a Boolean, we could call it again, but now put a Boolean in quotes.
You shouldn't have to change the top thing.
You wouldn't have to do a single thing. It should just work and give you the valid type, right? So that's an example. The only difference is if we didn't do throw new error and we did return, then we wouldn't have to do another mistake. So I kind of just back in there. But you know, that's really an interesting point to make. And so like here's an example of how a function can be super useful, right? Now if we were to go beyond this to like validation, right? In general, like forms or something, like you can write a generic validation function to validate all input fields, or a general validation function to validate all email, or all phone numbers, right? Make sure you get valid like number strings and so forth. And then it just becomes a matter of you know, like regardless of what kind of form you're building, like we have a website, which is a lot of different forms. It doesn't matter because you can run the same functions to make sure that the different types are all valid, right? Your email input field will always have the same type of value. You write it as a function once, and you don't have to rewrite it. Or if you want to make your validator more strict or less strict in the future, you change the function, and that less and more strictness applies across the board. So that's kind of the power of like trying to think in functions, right? And remember, like the expectation is not to think in functions. The expectation is to understand them and grok why they're useful, and that's it for the time being. This kind of stuff will come as time goes on, but yeah. So with that being said, can we go back to our practice problem and try problem number 2? So if we pass in, so this is called chance of rain. So the idea is it takes in a number, and the way it works is if the number is greater than half, it will return true. If the number is greater than 1, it will return must be less than 1, and then there's a few other ones. That's you have a bunch of ways to write in this case. So again, let's take like 5 minutes, and then what we'll do is I'll walk around and we'll go over it, and we'll keep doing it until people start to feel comfortable. Okay. So just like this function is very similar to the previous one. You might want to like start off there, right, and then just add in, and that's totally fine. And in fact, probably please, so you can want, you can do. Remember, Thursday, when we talked about this alpha by binary 80, remember we did if alpha. That was something we talked about. So we knew that if you try to like the group of like Java and alpha and example, just to kind of see that syntax. It was very similar to it's not working. Error. That. All right, so we want to select our lock do a command. You have to grab there's a command and then forward slash. Now, that works. What's the problem? We probably, so, I don't know, probably have some sort of syntax error. I just don't care. No problem. If you want, we can take a look on it. Oh, I know why. That's intent. Throwing error.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, it'll stop. It stops the code. It won't run out. That's an error. Oh, you still running, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. One thing you kind of shouldn't be a semicolon, should be code right. Yeah. No, give the people code.
Right, because you didn't put.
Yeah, but one more to close.
Yeah.
On the mind because you put any code on you, and here you're checking this where the right?
But then if it's not,
We don't have to, you don't have to, yeah, you can see that.
okay, yeah,
And then you keep going, you have one level.
right.
Oh, I can just turn around here, look at that.
So, I mean,
So far, so good. We
I
got
got it
one
to
more.
work,
Yeah,
but
you
I
have.
didn't get the error to work.
Which error?
It says here, it wants to be used.
Oh, yeah, you should like 3 other cases. And just return a string. Return string error, oh, you find that. So this is like, it's multiple statements. Cool. Yeah, how's it going? So you almost you're pure. So yeah, they're the king of syntax. That's it'll like that's the best thing we've had, right? Because it's just fun. Right. So got to put the right one function. Then look, otherwise this is pretty good to me. Set. Do you see this? Here you're returning strings. Right, but also like I didn't even think of that much really. But I was saying right? Because this is a boolean. Because true and false is a boolean type. If you put it in quotation, it's a string. Just use that. Correct, but in general, like you would rather do that because like in an if condition, if true will automatically value true in quotations. It's no longer boolean. So it becomes like, tricky. So right, so you always like so if you want like if it ever says like return boolean, and in general if you ever want to do like conditional, you want it to be valued to boolean. So it can be a string that you do a comparison to, but you want that comparison. Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, this is a fantastic good job. And you're using the alpha properly too. This is amazing. Good job, man. Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because the last condition is sort of a catch-all, so like everything else fails, you have something. Hi. Right. So then you probably wait for 9.
Yeah, it's 0.5, right?
But isn't 9 also greater than? Yeah. They call. Well, you don't have that.
Maybe one before it is also cancel rate.
That's why. So flip it. The chance to, so instead of doing it that way, flip that and then you would go. Right? So chance of rate is less than 0.5. I'll say the chance of rate is less than 1, return false. Else return a something.
Well, what if you want to do it like cancel rate means you're
Right, so if you want to do that, so I'll show you. You want to use a compound condition there. Do you want to put your finger up on one or?
or like I said, greater than 2 0.
But less than one. Yeah, so there's a way to do that, like using the 2 ampersand measure or the logical and. You can see that. But I think, yeah, in this case, like, I think you put that on that and go less than it. If you don't do that, then you should have the error first. Like, your chance rate is greater than 1 for the error, else the chance rate is greater than 0.5, else the chance rate is greater than 0. Yes, you have to do it in the second way. Wait, did not the bugs? Why not? Who was?
My friend that I was talking to said that if you give that a bug or a fly, so she was fighting you. You just let it.
With Zika.
You just like shoo it away. But they were saying like you should kill and I just kill them.
Well, then it's true. Yeah, you should feel it.
Well, like a fly, like I want to kill a fly.
You should kill a fly. There's other stuff in your life you need to make up.
So like kill a fly, but then like feed a dog.
There you go.
Or even better, a small boy in cereal.
Well, okay, I mean, like,
Well, yeah,
you made it sad, not sad.
Yeah, even if bugs.
So in general, I
I should want to, but mosquitoes are cold.
Yeah, that one was getting really gross.
right, so if something is trying to like suck my butt,
Right?
I'm gonna
I actually
Yeah.
saw a mosquito take my butt. Like,
But
and
we
it landed
should-
on my computer screen and it was bad for my
then you should squish around it and it explodes. Right?
Really?
butt.
If you just squish your pump under blood, is that
Because of
why?
the reaction, so it can't
You're
control
like,
it.
since you're probably getting
So much blood into.
It's like
their
you're
little
drinking
bodies.
water,
Yeah.
but out of the hole, and some asshole turns the
It's
hole
like-
off. And then you die, basically, right? But
Right.
you know. So that being said, I actually try usually not to kill things unless it like really like bothers me. Like for example,
Yeah.
if a roach is like in my I'll kill it because it could be a girl roach and pregnant. And I don't want to have a fucking colony. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to raise a family. So like I'll do that. But like that's the only way. If I see one on the street, I wouldn't put it
I'm not
outside.
sure, yeah. I usually try to shoot them away unless it's like actually representing a problem.
Actually, yeah,
Yes, we
it's
sound
really
like,
crazy.
we all sound like good people, we're not gonna kill them.
What?
It's happened twice, which is weird. But once I was in the bathroom in a very vulnerable state, and it was a little while back. You know, in the apartment I grew up in was kind of chill, and I just like I feel something on my I look down, and it's like a mouse, right?
Oh.
And he's just like crawling, like it's kind of like waddling around on my feet. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Like this is kind of creepy, right? So I'm like, can't do that. Because I'm gonna run away. He's just like run, right? So I'm like, all right, well, this is weird. I've got this random drunk mouse, right? And I don't really want to like. So anyway, so what I ended up doing is I picked it up. I took a picture of it. Like, hey, no worries.
Of course.
And then like I was like, I don't know what to do with him. I don't want to kill it. So I just like I went downstairs to like where our garbage place is, and I just dropped them off.
Yeah, there you go.
Honestly, I don't ever want to kill them or anything, I can't even imagine
It's a lot of blood.
Yeah, the mess that comes with it. So.
Well, and then it happened again when I had my cat in my different apartment. She was trying to kill it, but she didn't know how because she's stupid. And so I'm just like, you know what, cat, I got your back. Picked it up again, and it's the same exact thing. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, I didn't kill 2 mice, but I was tutoring this kid once who told me that that they found a baby mouse on this giant bowl, right? Like, and he got in, but he couldn't climb out because the bowl was too round. You know what they did? This is like straight up psycho shit. They boiled water and they dumped it on the mouse. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong? You just pick it up and just.
Yeah, I love what.
And then they told them.
They told me about it and they're like, LOL. I'm just like, no.
I love following their account on Instagram because they always show like videos and people being nice to animals, like rescuing them.
Are humans being bros?
I do the
sorry.
dodo. Like they always post like this. Yeah. So shame on that person. Nice. I still feel bad for one time when I was a kid. There was like a small baby mouse in our house, and like my first reaction was to
Step on it.
scream. And then my mom went and killed it. Like I felt so bad. So oh my god, I shouldn't have.
Well, no, but then they could have had kids.
Well,
And
you
then,
didn't know.
yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't have told them. Sorry.
It's all right. Cats eat mice is a thing. Oh crap! Look, I'm out of charge again. All right. Okay, so let's go over this real quick. I'm at 4%. No, I can't do this again. I need to get some juice. So I'm gonna go and grab some juice real quick, if that's okay. So yeah, it's been roughly an hour. So sorry, this is a bit early, but let's just do our break now. We'll come back and we keep going. Yeah. All right. I'll be right back. I hope it doesn't die. Oh, you know what I should do? Well, that, but also, I'll do it. I think it might be, but we'll find out.
Nothing survives.
Nice.
If it goes in, it doesn't come back.
My cat is
They're always picking up streets from your backyard.
See, that's the thing. My cat was stray, but that was also like a long time ago. Just kind of forgot the way to teeth.
My cat is Maggie. Maggie lives on a vicious killer. And Ash wasn't too bad. I put her this month. There was a bug in the house too that on like white monkeys, and it died within minutes. My mother's 2 strays that she took in last year caught a mouse they got a few months ago.
I forgot how like nice some.
And they were like tossing it back and forth to each other, and one of them picked it up and was running around the house with the smell. They were torturing the poor thing.
Oh, so alive.
Oh yeah. So she finally got it out. I don't even know how she got it out of Foxy's mouth. She got it and she put it out on the porch, and it just sort of like
Agonized.
bled to death. Yeah.
Poor thing. Yeah, my cat was like so proud. He's also like he's really
And then this other cat when I was growing up, sweetest little thing ever. Her very, very shy. He's like this timid little thing. But when he went outside, he was, primarily as a cat. He was the most vicious thing on 4 paws. He would like rip the wings off every day. So like, he brought home a parakeet head from the neighbors.
The dead.
Yeah, dead parakeet head. It was somebody's pet. Oh, no more. It's a cat.
Sounds like a dick cat to me. Also, look at that.
Outside. Otherwise, it was like the sweetest thing ever.
We're pretending.
But I call it short for orange bastard.
What kind of cat?
Your run-of-the-mill, straight, tabby, orange. He lived to be 19.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, tabby lived a long time. One that was 20. Oh, yeah. Like you mentioned the young.
That's good idea. I should have blocked.
Sam catches yellow balls. It's his mom died.
Oh, so you never really learned.
She was fighting on her raft because they daughter.
Oh.
I know, right?
Why did I do this story for something? Right?
It was on the cage too when we went and went to I had a little bit of a sob story for him. And he's an all my cat thing. Except he's watching some pigeons outside flying back and forth. Part of the building. And you could see that he wanted to jump out there and order everything, but like, yeah, he's never been out on his own.
All right, you want to go over it? You need like another minute? Okay, I guess I can start. It's been 6 minutes. Turn on. Oh, right, I forgot. I was like, what's going on? And it was just, I turned off my screen. All right. All right, cool. So, hey, we're going to write another function. It's going to say, should I take umbrella? Oh, that kind of makes sense because it's raining out today. I had to buy an umbrella. That was stupid. So, all right, function. Let's go ahead and just kind of do this, right? In here, so it takes this value, chance of rain, which is a number. Okay, that's not super bad. And what we can do with it is something like, well, so basically here's the condition, right? In order to make this work, right? If chance of rain is greater than a half, then you should return true. If it's greater than 1, it should return chance must be less than 1. Otherwise, you return false, right? So I think the trick here is there's a few different ways to approach it, and I kind of want to walk through all of them. Okay? So I think the simplest thing you can do, and this is just how my brain thinks, did anyone start off by checking less than values? Like, I know how you did it. How did you guys do it?
I started by, so I did if and else if, and then I started by greater than 0.5, and then the error messages until I got through.
I see. So here, can you walk me through your approach? If?
Yeah, if chance of rain is greater than 0.5, return true.
Okay.
And then my first else if is chance of rain greater than 1.
Correct.
Return error, blah, blah.
Okay.
And then my second else if is chance of rain less than 0.
Okay.
Return error, blah, blah. and then after just return false.
Nice. So does everyone follow that? How that's working? So suppose, and so with slices, like you can use these to kind of like test it out, right? So if it's 0.4, is 0.4 greater than half? No. Is 0.4 greater than 1? No. Is it less than 0? No. Therefore it's false. 0.8. Is chance of rain greater than 0.8? Yes. Returns true, you're done. 9. Is you test this case?
No.
The chance of rain, 9 is greater than 0.5, that will return true. Is exactly the issue that you have, right? And so there is a catch here to work on.
Might work.
It gets overwritten, right? It's like,
No, because, well, if 9 is greater than half, it should return true, right? So let's try it, right?
Mine's working.
Okay, so let's take a look at, so is this exactly what you had?
With the space.
No, but just like this logic.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try it.
Yeah.
So in this case, what does it do? Chance of rain, which is 9. No, it returns true. Is that what you're getting?
Yeah.
But you can't. You got to get what?
Oh, gotcha.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Right. So that makes sense. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh shit. Right. So 9 is greater than half. It'll come here. And really, you want it to go here, right?
Yeah.
So this is kind of like the point to demonstrate. And so the idea is actually what you want to do is you're gonna check like greater than. You gotta flip it. Does that make sense? So like really, in order to solve this with the greater than approach, what you must do is something kind of like this. You have to say, okay, if chance of rain is greater than 1, then like return this first. Then you can say, well, all right, great. Else if chance of rain is greater than a half, return true. Else if chance of rain is greater than 0, return false, right? And then you can, the last one, like you can say, all right, well, if it's not any of these, then you could probably even do something like else. You don't really need the other piece. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Oh. Oops.
if you wanted to have like, if you wanted to start with else if the 0.5 function there.
Correct. Yes. I want to build that. I want to build that next. Sorry. Why don't you ask a question?
Well, I was just gonna ask, like, how would you wanted to let that stay there, and then overwrite another one? You couldn't use the else if, right? It wouldn't be it else.
So
It's okay.
the if else if is like one block, right? So only one of these 4 will run. However, if you have 2 ifs, like if and another if, then they will both run. That's what you're thinking, right? However, the one thing is because we're doing return, like the return will prematurely throw the function, finds a return, it will ignore the rest of the code by nature, like, oh, let me return out of it. So for that reason, like you can't do the override, but you know what? I think it's worth going over that approach. So I will show you that. So there's 3 other approaches I want to show. I want to show it going down. I want to show it. I'll show it going down, and I want to show it that approach. I think that's it. There's another one. I guess not. Okay. Oh yeah, I want to show it with I don't know the word, but conditional. Compounds, right, there you go. Thank you. Okay, so is it okay if I just comment them out and I just keep like writing the other approaches? I think it's important to at least understand why or how the approaches work. If you prefer one way, just go for it. Like everyone thinks about things that are different, that's fine. I just kind of want to show it to you, okay? So in this approach, what we did is we're going like down from like greater than, right? Oh, is it 1,000 billion million? No. Is it 0.6? Is it 0.3, etc., right? Is it -2? Now, if we were to do this, let's try it with the other way. If chance of rain, can I just paste? Is that a thing? Nope. Is less than 0, return. You see what we're doing now, friends? Else if chance of rain is less than 0.5, then return false. Else if chance less than 1, return true. Else, does that make sense to everyone? Let's compare these two versions, right? See what we get. So, same approach, or rather same output, however it's flipped, right? So if you use the else if approach to make sure you define, this is how it will work, right? You gotta check smaller and go up, and check bigger and go. That's kind of the technique for at least comparing like numbers, right? It's a way of just basically what you're really doing here is you're checking for ranges, right? Essentially. Now, if you want, you can be more explicit, and I kind of want to show you that version. Does everyone grok this? Is this clear? Okay. Yeah? Okay. So the next way is this. Let's see. If chance of rain is less than 0, or you guys remember the two pipes? That's or. Chance of rain is greater than 1, then return. Oh, I guess we can't do this here because like.
The true false is between.
Well, no, we can't do it because of this, right? Like, we have to say it's greater than 0 plus 1. If you want, you could say something like maybe return error must be between 0 and 1. You know what I mean? I'm cheating a little bit there, but like whatever. And then we can say, well, else if chance of rain is less than 0.5, right? Like return false, otherwise return true. A little simpler. Does that make sense? Compound. Or we can even do this if we want. We can say if chance of rain is greater than 0 and chance of rain is less than 1, right? And then you can say if chance of rain is less than 0.5, then return false, otherwise return true, otherwise return error. You see that? Does that make sense? Again, now we'll go crazy. There's like 80 million different ways to do it, right? I just want to kind of show you the end of the or, right? So you can say, hey, check to see if it's within a range, and then do another sub statement. Check to see if it's out of range. Otherwise, check to see for 1, and then return. And it's awesome. You know what I mean? If you wanted, like we could also put this in here, right? Oh. And then, so I want to show you the cat's model approach that we were thinking. So the other thing you can do if you really want is something like this, right? Like you can do something like, I'm not sure if I would recommend it, but it is valid. Let like return value, right, equal to, let's say, false, right? So chance of, like should I take an umbrella? No. Okay, and then you can say, okay, well, if chance of rain is less than 0, then you can say, all right, well, like return value equal to error. You know what I mean? And then you can say, all right, if chance of rain is greater than 0 and chance of rain is less than 0.5, then return value equals to false. I guess let's get this. If chance of rain is greater than or equal to 0.5 and chance of rain is less than 1, return true. Oh, sorry, return value is true. If chance of rain is greater than 1, return value equals to error. So in this case, like what we're doing is we have a variable, and we go on. So these 70 are not else's. So each one of these will work. However, at each step, we can override and do that. And that's not true. So if it's valid. I don't know if you want to do this or not, right? But whatever, these are like different approaches. Any questions?
I have a question in general.
Sure.
When we were talking, actually going back a little, we were talking about either having the code simple or repetitive, or
Abstract or complex.
yeah. Is there a preference in terms of load time, I guess? Like for example, if my code is simple or repetitive, will that take longer to load?
That's a good question. So the answer is a little bit complicated. I think in general, unless you're repeating like 2,000 times, so it's like a file is giant, you're probably okay with that. Or if you kind of hyper optimize to make it as small as possible, probably okay. Right? So don't worry about that. However, there is runtime. And in runtime, like you have some really bad consequences of having like simplistic code that isn't like necessarily efficient. But that's what we don't really consider much of this stuff. That's one thing. Something that we talk about all the time in software. For efficiency, everyone wants that. Like reasonably efficient. Right? But it's always just a question of like pushing forward. Yeah, I want reasonably efficient, but I will come. Right? It takes very long to develop the approach and it's not worth it. Right? Versus something that's maybe a little bit less efficient, but very well understood. Could be something like, well, actually, I need something super efficient. I'm trying to call it, and so now it's worth. You know what I mean? So it depends. But generally, people like code that's easy to read and easy to understand. That's like key.
On the objective side, for complicated, but
Yeah, like I think it's a matter of like this use case, what the company wants to function, things like that. That all right, so I think we should do a few more problems. Right? Problem is that the further we go, the harder these problems get. So it's kind of like, I guess, I mean, that's how I do it. But I mean, anyways, why don't you do? Here's a fun one. I remember making this problem. I'm being very proud of it. It's called children subtraction, guys. It's the third problem in our practice set. And here is how the children subtraction function works. I just want to kind of explain it real quick. So here's how we're going to create. And what it's going to do is this. A third grader is not, like doesn't know a lot. And so, like for him, he doesn't know that integers are a thing, right? Or she doesn't know anything. So this person, numbers cannot be less than 0. But like, hey, what if you subtract 3 from 5? Third, the answer is -2. But the third grader is like, no, you can't do that, right? So write a function that does it. If the first number is less than the second number, it must return false, saying that no, like there's no answer. If the first number is greater, it should do subtraction. And if there's only one, so like if there is no second number, it should throw some sort of fish. That's in the piece that I'd like you to. So go for it, 5 minutes or 8 or 10 or however much you need. I'll be here and we can keep going. No, you have alpha back. So if you have two if alpha, like the last condition would be else. And if it, we go to so the alpha right, we can have something here. Right? Either a is less than zero. If foolish conditions, there. That now you start to get something that why is obviously not happy. I am really that. Let's see how we're doing that. The final piece of check C is how do you do this? Okay, so type of the other data types. So there you can have to a number and we right, I'm just saying each check here is see how what type of thing you get A is this. If A is less than B, otherwise, oh, you're only having one. That's the case where A is doesn't work.
It's yeah.
Well, here, right? Yeah. Right. Okay. So yeah, because but get rid of this one. You want to do something similar to the third condition, right? Got it? And defendant, right?
Like, they just put it in.
Here, binary, I mean, it's correct, but I want to undo it. Right? Except the third equation is, I think we need to do, I want to do this first, so like, fraction, probably want to check it, right? You can be, I will suggest. Here, actually, a lot more explicit. Type of E is undefined. That's actually the easy one. The type of or
Yeah. So,
I would do that first. Like I think it's undefined.
it's small.
Yeah, so I would do that first. Where if else is not part of like you have three possibilities. But in the case we have defined, I think that's like a
It's small, yeah.
sorry, put it on top, I'll make it an improve. Syntax. Particular. Angry. Here, but the alternative here would want to follow short subtraction. Right. I think what you should do is maybe yeah, or maybe like what helps me a lot is when I write my code, I'm going to write like first thing I'll do is function, foo-bar, and then I'll explicitly close it. Then I go in to do, like try to get you something to happen. I think that's probably you probably start from here and you roll in it, right? You do it like kind of like in layers, and then top of it. All right, are we going over this? Yeah? You want some more time? Guys? Go over it?
I didn't finish it, but
Okay.
yeah.
Fair enough. So, but you'd like another minute or two, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's do another minute or two. That'll be cool. Yeah, I think I'm okay with spending the entirety of today's class just doing this. Make sure you guys get comfortable, right? Okay. The trick is just to do one part of it, you know?
Maybe my argument is that apartment.
Well,
You have no doors except for the bedroom door. And
right.
last I checked, but you asked the dog.
Run. This is too high.
We have 7-foot tall bookshelves. He's gotten up there.
Well, yeah, because you have steps. I'm talking about like straight up levels. Right? That's how you do it. I think. And let's put it up and down and opposite. So J, it takes it very different up there. No, because of, like the JavaScript syntax error. The syntax error is that J is fine. Why? Whereas this, that or if you really want to test it, right? But what if you did something like this? That's really still great. Something great, but there are like some interesting ways to break this, but that one in particular, I think you just can't. Like that's like the level where you have to just basically say, okay, I trust that the caller of the function. Like, all right, I want to go over it, and then we can move on to the next problem. Ooh, the next one's good. All right, yeah, we have to do these. I think these are actually some really solid problems. We must do them. Okay, cool. So let's get started. Children subtraction, right? So again, I'm not gonna harp over stuff we already know at this point. So the function, LOL. I like to close my functions first, just to prevent possibility of maybe forgetting something in the future. Takes two arguments, a parameter, both numbers, A and B. Okay. And then here's the fun part, right? So it'll either return a Boolean or a number, depending, right? And that depends on a bunch of stuff. So basically, if A is less than B, it should return false. Otherwise, you should do the computation. The way, because A being less than B is a binary statement, it's one or the other, I would prefer to go with it if else statement. And you don't really need the if else because that only really works for conditions where you have three possible outcomes, right? A, B, C, or something. Here we don't have true or false. Does that make sense? So that's what I would do. So if A is less than B, return false. Otherwise, return A minus B. Is that fair? And that's the bulk of it. That's all you really need in order to get this function to work properly. Assuming if you make the assumption that the inputs are valid, they're both numeric, right? So that's really it. Now, of course, there's other ways you can do it if else, right? That there. I almost always prefer to do this because I don't have to write another curly bracket exercise. But that's it, right? You can do other. Yes. So, a semicolon, like this guy. So generally, you're supposed to do that in JavaScript, but you don't have to, and for most cases, it's fine. So I'm very bad, because I'll do it sometimes, I won't do it sometimes, and my code always works. So you know what I mean? So you can, but I think that good practice is to always do it. I just don't follow the good practice, yeah. And then comes the interesting thing, right? How to check if B was not passed in. And the reason I kind of have this is to kind of show you guys, well, hey, you can check to see if a variable, if an argument exists or not by using the type of property, right? So if a variable is undefined, its type of is undefined. And the way it applies to function arguments is that if you don't pass in a B, then the value of B will be understood to be undefined. Is that fair? So it's sufficient for us to do this. If type of B is undefined, return error B is undefined. And that's it. Now, can anyone tell me why I put that if statement first? Undefined, then we have, like, we're done here, right? Now, I have a question. This is, again, part of that. Are there any other ways this could break function? And if so, what is it and how can we rectify against it? That's good. That's a good point. Yeah, what if I pass it, like, it shows the subtraction, pass it like -5.
Should throw false, right?
Potentially, unless I put in -3 and -5. Yeah, that's.
So why in the situation where it else?
Oh, no, so you totally can. I was just, that must be a syntax error. So you totally can, right? Like you can do something like this. And that'll work. There's no problem here except that it's a matter of preference because now you have these two tabs. And really, if this doesn't run, there's only one other possibility. So for that reason, one can argue it's redundant to do this. And that's the only point to make. Is that fair? And that's really it. That's one, right? And then here, so someone brought up, well, you know, what if A and B are both less than 0? That's one way that this code can break or be used incorrectly. So what you can do is you can say, okay, well, if A is less than 0 or B is less than 0, return error, negative numbers not allowed, right? And then you can say, well, actually, if type of A is not equal to number, if it's a string, a boolean, like whatever, or type of B is not equal to number, then we can also throw another return error, A, B must be numbers. Okay? And with that in place, you no longer need this anymore, right? Because if it's undefined, it's not a number, and so now you have something like this. Yeah, but the difference is that, like, remember, these are 3 individual statements, whereas if you have an if-else, that's 1, but only one of those conditions will meet. If you have if-else, if, that's 1 with n different possible considerations. And only one of them should be common. Okay, cool. Make sense? All good? Okay, cool. Let's keep going though. So the next one is actually a classic interview question. It gets asked all the time. It's called FizzBuzz. Here's the way FizzBuzz works. I'm gonna pass it. You have a number and you pass it in. That number is divisible by 3. You should return the string fizz. It's divisible by 5. Return the string buzz. It's divisible by 3 and by 5. Return the string fizz buzz. Otherwise, return not fizz nor buzz. Yeah, this is an interview question. We asked this. So, yes. This one's easy. So we should ask this. I was asked to build a search engine. Or we'll talk about it, not actually. But that makes it worse, actually. But anyway, so here's the thing. Now, guys, one important note. I don't think I've ever explicitly told you guys how to test to see if a number is divisible. You can Google around, but do you guys remember the percent, like the modulo operator? Percent, like 5%, 3, it'll give you the remainder, not the actual value. It has something to do with that as a hint. I would say Google, how to see if a number is divisible JavaScript or something, and you probably find some good solution. But the percent is the key, right? So this is I think that's the hard part here. I think everything else is like, this is unusual, but why don't you give it a shot, and then we can solve it again, okay? Or together as a class or whatnot. Oh, sweet.
Well, no.
What?
No.
What's that? Oh, so okay, so the quotient is get it? F is the number, and the number is changed anyway. So but you can do this, yeah, and then again. So bars are not set. So constant length is okay, bars not. My work does the as you would scope, but right, like that's the only, and then actually after the 15, 13, 11. However, what it's doing is it's controlling that first. So then it works, right? So, oh, that's good. What's up? Fine. Oh, so see, that's first, right? Because that's the condition I have to fail. Or rule of failure going through. Oops, you guys gotta do that. How's it going?
That's not right.
No, so, yeah, so just Google JavaScript check.
I have, and it's giving me like everybody else's post, and it's all like.
Well, you read that one, that trouble thing.
Yeah, you know,
Really not even true variable existence function, right? Variable number. How can you change that to your instance? That's all you gotta drop into this thing, right? So start there. Does that help?
yes.
Second flow usually good. You want to look at the first answer and you know check that and people are perfect. Again, it's usually a HE, sorry. Look down.
We finished, so now we get to
Like the number was at 5 is 0, then it's number 1.
If you're doing like the inverter,
Mm-hmm.
like the logic inverter thing, you use ifs, not else. Like, could add in else.
So in there's one example or just general?
You can do it. Okay. Like if I want to add else if.
Correct. Yeah. It would still work the same exact way. In this case in particular, right? Because again, it's going to be one of four. So like the if else if always applies if you're doing one, if you have like n possible outcomes versus two. Okay. Guys, shall we go over it? Rachel's not here. That's kind of why I was like waiting, but maybe it just makes sense and she'll catch up, I suppose. So we can say, all right, function is buzz. And the value is like f, right? Which could be a number, any type of number. Now, how do we check to see if a number is divisible by something? Like I call you that maybe or
Variables with minus a number.
okay, and minus f.
Okay, now, percentage, whatever you want it to be divided by.
And
Is equal to 0.
correct, because that means it has no remainder, therefore it divides even. Okay, so we can say okay, and with that, like the problem is solved actually, right? Like once you understand that piece, you can just repeat that over and over again for 3, for 5, for 15, and so forth, right? So I saw some people do if it's divisible by 3 and 5, and then you guys use the AND operator, so good stuff. But you know, you can also just do divisible by 15. That's the same thing. So I'll show you guys like that approach, just because like I don't get even thought of it, so like might as well. So if I do something like, all right, like return fizz, right? And then to your point, we can say else if f% 5 equals 0, then return buzz. Else if f%15 equals 0, then return fizz buzz. Else return neither fizz nor buzz. You know that in my company at least, Canada's performance on this particular problem is success in the EU problem. I'm lazy.
3 and 5 can use a multiplier.
Practically. Yeah. And just as a FYI, as you guys pointed out, this should really be up here, right? First. Make sure you catch all the cases, right? That's what you guys had to, right? If it's both 3 and 5 or 15, then it should be fizz buzz. And that's it. Cool. So it looks like it's starting to maybe come together a bit more, right? Starting to gel together. I mean, we have like 50 minutes left, but I think it might make sense to just keep going on this. Like in particular, I do want you guys to do that mock paper. As well. So, you know what? This one is really good. So I kind of want to do this one, and then after this, we can switch over to. Okay. And then can you guys try this one? This is tough because it's not just asking you for the type of, it's asking for the valid number. And so I would say again, Google around for like JavaScript valid number. I really want you guys to get into the habit of being able to like basically parse through your search results in Google. Because like sometimes the answer will be right there, or oftentimes you won't find the exact answer you want, but you find something close enough that if you apply what you know, kind of get there. I kind of want to understand. Okay, so same thing. Like we'll take about 5 minutes, and then like based on where we are, we'll go further or bring it in, etc. Okay. So what did you like? What was your approach? So the one you can do is just try to play with it a little bit, like actually write down. If that's one small. So because one is up, right? Is and also one because the string is still a number, like it can parse it to a number, right? However, like true, why? Because this can never be converted. That's that. The other thing you would hear make that mistake, right? And you and you see it and you start to get right? It's not there, but it's not sort of so like when in doubt, like even if you don't do it here, just like drop the constant out and clear out of it and see where you end up. Because this is the same as this.
Understand the colors.
Right?
Understand the colors. You define it.
Right. Isn't that is also a function that's on my job?
Shouldn't it?
Yeah, and so I think what this does is just check to try to see this. Or like I don't think it's even that function. Maybe actually I'm not sure. Maybe it does like a baseline check. It is slightly unreliable, stuff like that. I think the best thing to do is that it might be like false positive, but like you can definitely tell if something is wrong if it highlights something. Like you expect a variable to have a highlight, you know, if it's wrong, or you can text. However, you can't trust them. So I know that this one's like kind of mathy and stuff, but it's really more about like the logic. Never mind. And remember to play around with the findings. The best way to. Next.
So empathy is an AS word here.
Not enough.
I don't know how to apply that.
Also, you think. The other is sort of false. So, well, if incremental then, if any, then do something about it. Inside your function. Okay. You guys want to try it out? Off this one, off this piece. Yeah. You want to give, or you want to spend a little more time? I kind of want to give you guys some time to work on the rock, paper, scissors. That was kind of like more interesting and also like a thing. What do you say? Yeah, okay, let's just go over it.
Yep.
So here's my first question. How can you tell if a number is truly a number potentially or not? Like I think I saw, basically everyone found it, so that's good. The is NaN, right? The is NaN function. So NaN is a JavaScript thing. It's really stupid actually. NaN, it stands for not a number. And if you have the type of for NaN, it's actually so it's a number that is not a number, right? So LOL. Is NaN is probably the dumbest function name I've seen in my life. But a double negative, right? So that makes it really confusing, right? Because is NaN will be true if a number is not a number, and false, the other one. And so that makes your head hurt a little bit. I think that's what's really tough about this problem. So like the one thing I wanted to highlight though is like just remember that like because we have this playground, or even just like a console.log on any web page, you can just run raw JavaScript and see what's going on. So the first thing I would do is I would just like fuck with this a little bit, right? And remember, it's is NaN where N and the other N are both capitalized. The A is not. So because that's a really great way to name stuff, as some of us saw, right? Like it's very easy to fuck that up a little bit. So if I do like 1, is 1 not a number? And I get false. 1 is not a number, therefore it is a number. That's not 2, right? Like it makes your head hurt. But we can get pretty far by just relying on like observation. Like here, like okay, so my view of this is that okay, if I pass in a valid number, I expect this 2 to be false. I can use that to my advantage. And then what if I pass in an invalid number, right? Console.log is like that. Now, is that an invalid number? Anyone? It's a string, right? Yeah, it is. But according to JavaScript, fuck you, it's valid, right? And the reason for that is because isNaN tries to parse it out, and like tries to see if it can be converted into a number. So isNaN is really telling you, hey, is this variable or data type a number? Or is it not? Or is it that it can never ever be a number, even if you try to convert it, right? So if you put in like quotations 1, because if you remove the quotes and it is 1, it'll be fine. However, if you put something like this, there's no way in hell that can ever be a number. And that's it. Which is why we can use this to say, like, well, actually, if I put in like a word, it'll probably like I want to say that hey, this can never ever be a number. Versus putting in like 3 and 12, which is like a string, it can be interpreted as a number if we knew how to do that, right? Aside though, that's also a Java question on that was asked. Take a string that has a number and convert a real number. Fun stuff. So with this knowledge, right, we know that if we put in some random crap that can never be a number, it will be true, otherwise it's going to be false. I can actually go ahead and try to build this out now, right? So what we can do is we can say, all right, well, function is number. And in here, we can pass in like potential number, right? Because that's what it calls it, like whatever, right? So we just have to say this, right? We can say, well, if is NaN potential number, then what? So remember, this will only be true if that value can never ever be a number. So that means that, is it a number? No. You return false, correct. Otherwise, again, it's binary, right? Return true. And that's it. Right? It's not so bad. However, since we're here, we're talking about it. It is 9 though. I want to show you. You can write this as a one-liner. You're just seeing it. Okay. So here's why. You can write function as one-liners if the thing you're doing is going to return true or false, and you're also going to return true, right? So what you can do here is that you know that if this is true, then you need to return the opposite, false, right? How do you do the opposite again in JavaScript? Do you guys remember? Exclamation point, the bang, right? So you can just do return not is nan. And you don't need any of this crap. Super concise. Exclamation, so if you have a true, like in the context of a Boolean, like true or false, if you do exclamation point true, it'll be read as false. If you do exclamation point false, it'll be read as true. So it just flips it. Which is exactly what you need here. So if something is not a number, then it must be a number. If something is not a number, it must be a number. Which again, I'm sorry for choosing this one. It's like when you could use a bunch of other ones for this, I apologize. But I just thought it, right? So you see, the important thing is to kind of just like see how, oh, my soul is coming off. That's interesting. True soul. Actual soul. If you look at this guy, you can kind of see that, right? So it's basically, it takes something like this to condense it, right? If this was like, oh, if this is true, then return true, hopefully that like that would make it a little bit easier to run, right? It's basically, again, you do the one-liner if the test you're doing is just like a Boolean, but the return is also a Boolean. Okay, cool. Anyway, so that's kind of it. I am done with if-else conditions. Based on what I've seen with you guys, I think everyone kind of has a sense of like ors and ands. So I think, like from my perspective, I don't really be on Thursday, thinking about partying tomorrow, but like I think like you guys are 100%, right? So I want to do loops. I think I have like some cool stuff I did with loops, but I'm not sure if we can justify that half an hour. So I was thinking it might not hurt to do like a rock paper problem, just because you guys like do that in student fund, really cool to like see you apply that. And then what we can do is, like, I don't expect it to take you long. Maybe we can spend some time converting that into something that you can see in the browser. Like, I'll code that so you can just see it. And like it's probably won't make too much sense, but at least it'll start to feel a little bit more like how this condition stuff fits into it. Is that fair? So why don't we start now? So here's the way it works. I kind of like wrote it up in here. Feel free to just do it in that same like workspace that I have or that you guys have. So I'm gonna paste it here. If you want to work in groups, you may. If you don't want to work in groups, that's fine too. Just go ahead and just implement this guy, okay? As a function, call it RPS. Takes two inputs, gives one output, which is going to be a number. One is player 1 wins, player 2 wins, 0 tie. Feel free to approach it any way that you want. We'll implement it, and then we'll see how we can push it into the UI, okay? Cool. Oof. Sorry?
Are we allowed to be lazy?
Yeah.
And check out previous notes?
Of course.
Okay.
That's not lazy. That's good work actually. Why not? So you don't put that.
So if I do that R,
Oh, no, yeah. Oh, okay. So R. Oh, you
bigger
mean-
was
no, on punch. Clear, clear. Good. Oh. Yeah, it is cool, right? Like 2 more minutes next, and then I kind of want to go through.
Actually, oh, yes. Yeah.
So bad. It's like
Don't worry about it. I'm not even
energy pump. Like, thank
not
you.
even using it.
Sweet, sweet juice. Want to go over it? Or you want like a few more minutes? Few more minutes? Yeah, we can do a few more minutes. That's
No, I'm actually up for going out and I'm doing it.
Yeah. So we have to do this one. Can I go over it? All right. Yeah. I went too hard on this stuff. Like, oh, sorry. So I think like, okay, so I really wanted to show you guys a way to like kind of harvest this input from the browser. I think maybe that doesn't make sense anymore. So we'll just talk about the function and a couple of edge cases, and we'll go from there, okay? So, my friends, I hope everyone remembered, like, at least how you guys implemented it in the pseudocode. And I hope at this point you guys were able to get it working to some degree, but now in code, which, you know, kind of cool, I guess, right? But as per usual, we have a function, RPS, is what I'm going to call it, and it takes two arguments. Let's call it P1 and P2. Is that fair? Now, what's really important and like neat here is that when we are the developers of this function, up until now, like you guys have followed basically my requirements. But when you write a function, you write your own requirements, right? So you can say, you know what, I want P1 and P2 to be type number, right? If you want to know, but you guys like remember the numerical function. You can say, you know what, I want P1 and P2 to be R, P, or S, but only a lowercase. What that means is your function will not evaluate or will not consider a case where the user puts in a capital R. You know what I mean? You get to make those distinctions. However, if you want a flexible function, you might also want it to be unique. So you might want to consider the case, well, if the user puts a capital R, I still want it to be interpreted as well. You know what I mean? So like that world opens up a little bit, right? So for now, the way I try to manage this is I start off by making it as strict as rigid and therefore as simple as possible. Then I add more stuff, right? So a few of the assumptions are that, okay, well, P1, P2 can either be only one of R, P, or S. So I'm not going to consider bad data. I'm not going to consider P2 is not defined. So I'm just considering this for now. And with that in mind, I can say, well, okay, well, if P1 equals to R and P2 equals to P, right? Like, is this kind of like ringing a bell, or do you want me to go over on this slide to the left here? You want me to go, or is this fine? Is this okay, Matt? Alexis? Okay. So if that's the case, then who wins? Paper, right? So we have to return 2 because as per our requirements, it should return 2 if player 2 wins, 1 if player 1 wins, or 0 if tie. Fair? Okay. And we can also do something like this. We can say if P1 equals to P2, then return 0. Fair? And we're done with that one. Remember, we can say else if, because it's going to be like one of a bunch, right? Else if P1 equals to R and P2 equals to S, then return 1. Is that fair? And we can do that again. And in this case, paper beats rock, and scissor beats paper. We do one more time. S. And here is rock and paper. In this case, rock beats a scissor, and scissor beats paper. Right? And we're done. That's it. That's our entire function, more or less. Make sense? Okay. However, let's make this more interesting, right? Because if we did do the case with the user and stuff like that, like they might write rock, they might write capital R, might write rock incorrectly, they might write R0CK, they might write ROK, whatever, right? How do you handle that? And the question is, well, how much do you want to handle, right? So you have two options. And you say, well, you know what? If something spelled incorrectly, like maybe like you should write RPS, maybe you should do that, right? So like you won't care. Maybe you say, you know what? Actually, if it starts with the correct first letter, that's enough, right? You have a bunch of options. Let's start off by doing this. If we have something like this, console.log RPS, and we do like R, and then R, right? As you can see, we should get 0 because it is high. Fair? Well, if we do R and then capital R, we should still get a tie, but what do we get? Undefined, because we don't handle it, right? So what this tells us, is this clear to everyone so far? Is we can have an else statement which just says like return could not understand inputs or something like that, right? Or something like that. But then how do you handle this? Because the only difference between R and capital R is just a capitalization, right? So maybe one thing we could do is this, right? Like maybe we can say, you know what? P1 equals to P1 dot to lowercase. What do you think this does, guys? Correct. And P2 equals to P2 dot to lowercase. And having done this, guess what? We're back, huh? Make sense? No, not too shabby. Correct. So let's talk about that, shall we? You can Google around, right? Basically, my application is if you did something like rock, like R-O-C-K, or you did R-O-C-K, right? In this case, it works with the two lowercase, right? And then these all. So my application would be, like, what if you just consider the first character, right? Because chances are, even if someone like misspells something, they'll probably start with the correct first character, right? That's a reasonable assumption. So like I would maybe you guys Google around for this, but effectively what you can do is, remember how we did like name.length earlier today to find the length of the string? So strings have properties. Like you have console.log, like log is a function. But we never really talked about what console means. It has a bigger meaning, but strings also have this concept of properties. So what we can do is actually this. We can say string, P1 is a string, right? Dot slice 0, 1. And what that'll do for us is this. Assuming it works. So let's console.log. And it will tell me, based on what you see, missing observation, what does that slice 01 do? Old P1, P2 is rock and rock spelled crazily. New P1, P2 is just R. So what do you think that dot splice does? First of all, it must be a 1 because of the parentheses. If the parentheses, it's got to be a... Well, yeah, 0, 1 are parameters, but slice is a function, right? Yeah, sorry, I was playing the wrong thing. Right. And the 0 and 1 are parameters which are numbers. And what do you think that does, like 0, 1? And if you're not sure, can you suggest a test that we can do to kind of play with this? I don't understand. We see the slice 0, 1, and we see the transformation. So you guys understand what this means?
Just take the first letter.
That looks like it, right?
If you're treating it as a number, of course, you have the order of the letter.
It's taking the first letter, right? So then, like, what does 0, 1 mean?
Beginning.
That's a good question, right? So here's what we can do. Like, so if you're not sure, I mean, one, you can always just search this up, right? But if you're not sure, or if you don't want to search it up because you're not, like, with information, just play around with it. Just change it to 2, see what it does. RO. So, what does that do, right? Number of characters. If we do, okay. So here's how, like, what if we did from 1 to then? So is it a number of characters, or is it position? Is it? So what we're doing is slice the string from position 1 to 2, slice the string from position 0 to 1. So the slice is a function that takes in 2 arguments, numbers, which if you pass in properly, will just get you that subsection. That's good, right? My point is more so that you can kind of arrive at these results by just playing around, right? And maybe it's useful. It's kind of like the way I advocated playing around with the NAN, like we do as well. Just like put in some test cases and try to like see if it makes sense. And if it doesn't, then like you can go and search on like MDN, is a good one, Mozilla Developer Network, where they tell you like how, like basically the reference manual for all this stuff. Slice happens to be something that's like native to JavaScript, I guess. So like people who wrote JavaScript wrote Slice, so people who wrote JavaScript wrote the NAN function that comes with JavaScript. So it's kind of useful. Slice itself does some really cool shit. Like we don't have to worry about it now, but if you ever need to do string manipulation, I highly recommend Slice over JavaScript has 2 other implementations that do something kind of similar, but not really, and it's all the parameters are all different. So there's substring, and there's another function, and then there's a splice. They all suck. All right, so that's kind of a random, but like the point here to make is that as the functions developer, it's on you to kind of decide how hardcore or not hardcore you want to do. Generally, like so I was gonna plug this into and be like, oh, I'm stupid, well, I don't think it's stupid. How do you validate that, right? So here are some techniques that you might use, right? Basically, you pick however you want to do it, and then if the user does not comply, then fuck you. And that's basically how the internet works. So there's that. All right, cool. So hey guys, this is pretty solid. I feel very optimistic, and I have to admit, usually, like the low point, there's a curve that like we used to talk about for students when it works for like instructors too, where you go like this, where like you feel really good initially, especially with HTML, CS, like oh, it all makes sense, and then you plummet with JavaScript, and then it starts to come back up again like, slowly. Like this is really like logarithmic growth, really, not even. But for this class, I think I'm like really good about like how much you can practice so far, despite the fact that I know no one even like look at this, which is partially my fault. I didn't know but this is really good. So on Thursday, I'm going to ask the substitute instructor to go over loops. And we're like, hey, like take it easy and try to do some practice. Just remember, it's just like the if statement stuff we've done. It's like a slightly different thinking, but it's pretty like logical. And the main thing that's probably going to catch you is simple. So this is what we have here. So we'll talk about. So you can you should go over that, and then I think the week after is week
start of week 8. So worst case, I think what we'll do is, even if we don't feel super comfortable with groups, we just kind of understand the concept. I think for me that's enough. And I really want to kind of push on week 8, jump into jQuery. That's the goal. Okay. jQuery, which is how you can like create buttons that can click and do JavaScript, right? And at this point, I hope it becomes like, it's not obvious, but like at least more defensible. That really all it is like, hey, when you click on a button, run a function. That function will run another function that pulls the input values and then like does some logic and then spits something out of the HTML. And that's basically all the effort comes. Anyway, if you fill out the extra tickets, if you remember, I appreciate it. I'll see you guys next Tuesday, but I will be like on and around on Slack. So I'll keep an eye out if you guys need stuff and things like that, and I really appreciate it. Like no pressure. Like by the end of Thursday night, you can send me the deploy, GitHub, URL for your file.
How much of the button are you looking for?
Yeah, just like HTML, CSS. As much as you have, don't kill yourself. But like, I mean, if you only have like a H1 together, but you know, it doesn't matter. Right? As long as we get it by week 10 over.
All right, cool guys, thanks. I'm gonna give you this back. Oh, thanks to you, I got the 28%. Oh my God, that is sick.
Awesome.
You leave it on there.
I did.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
You know, I gotta meet my parents after this, so I wanted to be able to like. Well, no, they're the type of people who like freak out about this kind of stuff. Where are you?
We are the people?
They are.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, my family. I mean, I'm brown. My mom's a little bit. You know, like so.
All right, they're pretty cool. All right, I'm gonna So since we did all our notes here, it's just gonna be on the Slack channel. So hopefully that's enough, all right, guys? Okay, cool. All right, thanks. Hit me up if you have any questions on Slack. I'll be around. Take care. Good shit today. Doing good.
I will not be here on Tuesday.
Okay. Oh, that's a bummer, but that's all right. I think that the one thing is just that if you can just try to catch up on the lecture videos.
I'll be on the.
Yeah.
I'll be in class. I just won't be here.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right.
On
So
Tuesday?
it's live.
Yeah, it'll be live. Yeah.
That can just be remote.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like the experience might be a bit diminished, but
So I should
like.
just watch it.
So like don't, if it's really inconvenient, don't kill yourself. But if you're just like not doing anything, then it's up to you.
Okay.
But either way, I think like if you want to just like ping me with questions or something, we can just talk about it.
Where do we go?
What's up?
What are we doing next?
jQuery. So the first steps of like UI dev. So it can be a little bit of a